production schedule was quite arduous. You rehearsed 1 week. I think you did 5 shows rehearsed in 1 week, and then you recorded them the next week. So you alternated between rehearsal and record, and that was the production year. I really enjoyed the creativity of lifting the script off the page, working with actors, which I'd come from an acting background as well, so I thought how to direct actors. So it was very enjoyable. The first time Play School broadcast a Māori story in Māori in Play School was me. So, I was still able to inject something of myself into that program as well. When I went to see my Māori grandmother, she was absolutely convinced that people treated manu differently. And I said, the presenters, and I said, why is that, Koe? And she'd go, well, why is she the only one that they ever wash? She's the only one they put in the bath. That had nothing to do with the fact that she was the only one that was washable. She was plastic, like Jemima was made of cotton, so she would have got soaking wet. So, but my kuia was absolutely convinced that that was prejudicial, the way they treated manu. But I think was quite chuffed that her mokopuna was a trainee director on that program. It was great fun, and we really tested the patience of our producers. Like we wanted to, we fancied ourselves as big production, 10 camera setups, but in fact, we had this pokey little studio. We only had 3 cameras, and I think we managed to catch a free-form camera, but but we used to stretch the resource as much as we could. I remember having 20 or 30 haka boys in the studio, all from Tipene College, and I remember there was a Bobby Brown dance, and we did. We had a team on stilts in the studio dancing to Bobby Brown. There was other very funny things that happened. Milli Vanilli were in the studio, and I found a hair extension that had dropped out of one of their heads, and it became known later that more than their hair was fake. We had a very talented chap that worked in the Māori programs department. His name was Brent Leslie, non-Māori guy. But he had for many years sat and observed Māori in the Māori programs department at TVNZ, and had lots of stories, lots of anecdotes, all based on real people and real happenings. And he decided to write a television series based on a Māori radio station, who also, they were going through their formative years of establishment. And on the basis of the pilot, we had funding from New Zealand On Air to produce a series called Radio Whāwaho. So I directed half of those sitcoms, and Derek Wooster directed the other half. And again, a really great experience. Loved it. I thought it was, and to be honest, I've seen 1 or 2 of them recently, and I still think they get a laugh out of me. So that's the main thing. I had to fight to get that program up and running, and we were successful at getting it funded initially from the Ministry of Education, and then we went to TVNZ supported it, of course, and then Te Māngai Pāho by then was established. So we produced more, I think about 150 of these programs for Māori preschoolers in the medium of Māori. So yeah, it was a bit of a milestone, and a bit of a, it was it certainly wasn't a well-trodden path. So we were, in many ways, we were shaping the future of Māori programming and Māori television. Having Tiki Tiki established, having it recommissioned and several times, was a real feather in the cap, and I think that remains one of my most proudest achievements. I'd worked with Mika previously. I thought I'd also was a great fan of Graham Norton, and I thought Mika was in many ways sort of a Māori version of Graham Norton, or not a Māori version, a version of a man very comfortable in his own skin, about his sexuality, and a certain humour about him that I thought would translate well to the screen. I don't think it was a perfect format, but it was something that was a great vehicle for Mika's talents. I don't think we would have had any chance of getting something like Mika Live on mainstream, to be honest. So with the advent of Māori television, it meant that a wide range of program ideas and program genre were able to be explored, with potential to producing and bringing them to our screens. It was a big responsibility and a great honour to be having oversight of those programs. There was also an appreciation that programs had to be reinvigorated, rejuvenated. Being a bit of a change agent always brings challenges. People find change difficult, and they certainly did at Māori programs. But forefront in my mind was also protecting the mana of those programs and the brand that were those programs. But I recognised that rejuvenation needed to happen. I remember head of programming, he said, what would you like to do with Te Karere? And I said, well, it was currently a 15-minute bulletin that ran for 5 days of the week. And I said, well, I want half an hour and I want it to run 7 days. And he said, well, what if you could have one of those things? And I said, well, I'll take the 5 days, half an hour. So we virtually doubled the on-screen time of Te Karere with that decision. Not many people would realise that it was Jeff Latch that agreed for us to do that. So I always pay due respect to the decision that required, yes, me putting the idea in front of him, but he said yes, and then the team picked up that and made that happen. So today still we have half an hour of Te Karere on screen. So I think that was both a big challenge and probably my biggest achievement at TVNZ. I didn't apply for the job lightly. I certainly, the pressure of even applying for the position of Māori television was certainly, again, a very arduous experience. But I've been so committed to having the opportunity and having the honour and the responsibility. That's what I wanted. And that's why I was very keen to be the Chief Executive of Māori Television. The prime purpose of Māori Television and the kaupapa, if you like, the mission of Māori Television in te reo is kia kaingākautia, kia kōrerotia, kia tautokona te reo Māori e ngā tāngata katoa o Aotearoa. And to put simply, to translate simply, it's engendering a love and an appreciation of Māori language and culture and sharing that with all New Zealanders. That's the mission of Māori Television. And whatever we do is guided by that mission. So, I've got a new leadership team in place. We have a very clear sense of our strategic direction. And we are going about the task of putting that strategic direction in place. I can't say that it doesn't affect me. Of course it does. I mean, some of it's been very personal. But, I'm kind of impervious to it. You kind of develop a bit of an armour. And in fact, I had a very senior executive join the team in the last year and said to me, when they first started, what do I need? You know, and I said, well, a flak jacket would help because, you know, you do need to armour yourself. But for me, the essence is, as long as you're very honest about why you're doing the job that you do, as long as you have very clear reasons about doing the things that you do and the actions you take, and it's connected to the kaupapa, then I don't believe you can go wrong. So, you know, as long as I continue to believe in that, I will be here.